Are you non-functionally overreaching in your training? Because if you are, this could set your fitness journey back by weeks, if not months. I had to learn this the hard way, so it stopped my progress for weeks, and it also negatively impacted every other area of my life. Basically, I went from improving every week to feeling like poison Luffy until I recovered. So yeah, it's definitely worth knowing about it so that you can prevent it from happening to you in the future. Or if you're already in that state, you might want to take the right steps now to get out of it so that you can start progressing again. To understand what non-functional overreaching is, let's first take a look at how you actually build muscle and get stronger. Basically, each time we train hard enough, we provide our bodies with a reason to adapt and get stronger. But this adaptation, meaning muscle growth and strength gains, doesn't really happen during our training. It happens afterwards when we are resting, especially during sleep. So in a nutshell, every time we train, we accumulate stress and fatigue. And every time we rest, our bodies remove that stress and adapt to get stronger. And this is also exactly what we want to progress. So that's good. The problems occur if we keep accumulating stress without spending enough time resting. If that happens, our bodies kind of lag behind and can't really adapt anymore. On a short-term basis, this is actually totally fine. This is what we call functional overreaching. And here it's usually enough to take like a short rest period, maybe a deload week, to fully recover and to even come back stronger after the resting period. But if we keep pushing ourselves in this state, we reach a territory called non-functional overreaching. And this is problematic. Here your performance drops, you basically get weaker from session to session, and it's also followed by some negative side effects. For example, problems sleeping, problems concentrating during the day, and also like mood swings. So it's not a pleasant state to be in. We can also take an analogy to Demon Slayer. For example, when Tanjiro and the others fought the upper 6 demon, they were like really pushing themselves in the battle, like overclocking their abilities and their body to reach more than 100% of what their bodies could handle. And this of course was also really important to defeat the demons. But afterwards they had to rest like several weeks in the hospital to just like get back to normal before they could start training again. So it's kind of the same for us. And since we're not fighting demons in real life, I mean, at least not in the most literal sense, we don't have to go this far to reach this non-functional overreaching territory. I find being in the state of non-functional overreaching quite frustrating for two reasons. On the one hand, we have this decreased strength and the negative side effects. On the other hand, we usually have to take a much longer rest period, often ranging from 1 to several weeks, not even to get stronger, but just to get back to a baseline level. And if you're not aware of this state, this can kind of become like a vicious cycle, because you think, I'm not progressing, I have to train more. Then you train more and your overreaching gets worse. Then again, you think, damn, I'm not progressing, I have to train even more. Then you train more, your overreaching gets worse, and so on. You see, it's quite difficult to get out of that if you're not aware of it. So how do you know if you are non-functionally overreaching? And this is a bit difficult to answer because we still want to train hard enough so that our bodies adapt and get stronger, so we will feel sore from time to time. But I would say generally it helps to look back at the past training results, like from the past few weeks, and ask yourself the following questions. Are you actually progressing, or are you stagnating or even getting weaker despite regular training? Do you feel tired all the time even though you are sleeping enough? Are you having trouble falling and staying asleep? And are you generally irritated, have brain fog, or trouble concentrating? If the answer to some of these questions is yes, this might be a sign that you are in an overreaching state. So how do you get out of it? And the only real answer here is by resting. I know it sounds kind of boring and unspectacular, but if you are in that state, you really need to rest. The good thing is you don't have to skip your training entirely, but you have to drastically reduce the load, meaning that you only do half of the volume that you usually do, and also choose easier progressions. If you train calisthenics, for example, planche or front lever, you would choose an easier progression here, for example, straddle front lever. If you're trained in the gym with weights, you would just lower the weight you're training with. And this is what we call a deload phase. Of course, it's best to never get into that state in the first place, so we definitely want to prevent it. And a good way to do so is by including a deload week into your training every 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the intensity of your training, even if you don't feel any of these symptoms yet. Because I can tell you, it's really no fun to be in this state. It's like you're feeling like a complete zombie. You have no motivation anymore, nothing is fun. You're always tired, and you're not even getting results out of your training. You're just getting weaker. So it's just a frustrating experience. Better prevent it in the first place. I hope this video creates a bit of awareness around the topic of non-functional overreaching, and I hope it helps you to prevent it from happening to you in the future. I wish you a pleasant training, have a good day, and bye.